Coming up in this week's episode, I'll be sharing footage from the first tests of Valkyria, the new dive coaster opening at Liseberg in Sweden this summer. What is happening with Nemesis Sub Terra at Alton Towers? That's the question on everyone's mind this week, and there's been quite a lot of activity around the ride. I'll be talking all about it. And along with that, it's been a fantastic opening for the two new areas at Toverland over the weekend. Both Avalon and Port Laguna are now open to the public, and I'll be talking all about it. I'm Sean Sandbrook, this is TPW Weekly, and that means it's time to cue those titles. It's Wednesday, July the 11th, and welcome to this week's episode. There's been quite a lot going on the channel this week in terms of new videos, including 4 brand new vlogs. One of those from the Hoppings in Newcastle. We had a fantastic time. It was me and Alex, and also a special guest, Disney Mark, so make sure you check that out. It's full of plenty of laughs and on-ride POVs from all the different rides that we experienced as well. Along with that then, there's a review online from the Edinburgh Dungeon. We had a good time when me and Alex went there. It wasn't quite as good as what we was expecting, but we still very much enjoyed it, and make sure you check out our full review. Along with that, there's a brand new vlog that went online from M&D's, our first ever visit to Scotland's theme park, once again including plenty of on-ride footage from all of the different rides at the park. And most recently, just yesterday, a brand new vlog where me and Charlotte went to Wicksteed Park, located in Kettering. We had a great day there in the sunshine, did all the different rides, and again, plenty of on and off-ride footage, along with plenty of laughs. But yeah, I've also done a little trip down south over the past few days. To be honest, it was a bit of a last-minute one, had a few spare days, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to make a solo trip and go down to Devon for a few days, where I've done a few different attractions. So expect those videos to come online later this week and into next week as well. But I went to Creeley. I also did quite a few other little bits down there, such as the Babacombe Model Village. That was great to see. Dingles Fairground Heritage Centre, and quite a few other bits as well. So make sure you stay tuned for those videos on the channel in the coming couple of weeks. But anyway, quite a lot of news to talk about this week in our weekly news roundup. Firstly then, let's talk about the beautiful Liseberg amusement park located in Sweden. I visited in 2014 for the first time for the opening of Helix. I fell in love with the place. It's a gorgeous amusement park. A few years after that, of course, they announced that for this year they were going to be building a B&M dive coaster, the largest of its type in Europe. And finally, this ride has now started to test. They were having quite a few issues with the foundations on the ride around the tunnel area. Digging out the tunnel was causing more issues than what they first imagined. But they managed to do that a few weeks ago. B&M were back on site, the track was all installed, and finally this ride has started to test. In just a moment, I'll show you some footage of it in action. But yeah, I'm glad that the ride has got to this stage now. I met up with some of the management there, had a fantastic tour from a guy called Pontus when I was there. And make sure you check out the behind the scenes vlog here on the channel that I did a few months ago, because it was a wonderful experience to see behind the scenes on many of the different rides, and also see a little bit of Valkyria's construction as well. When I was there, of course, the drop wasn't in place, and also that first inversion as well, which is the Immelman. But yeah, here we go then. Here's a little look at some testing footage of this awesome new dive coaster that will be opening quite soon at Liseberg in Sweden. There's still no opening date set, but it will be at some point this summer. I'd imagine in a few weeks' time we should know a bit more about when this is going to open. But here you go. Here's some testing footage of the new dive machine. Some brilliant shots there of the ride in action. A big thank you to Liseberg for directly providing us with that footage. It does look stunning, and the fact as well, it's actually quite fast. It builds up a lot of speed. Coming out of that Immelman, you go into like the banked turn where it goes into the rest of the layout, where it will do the other two inversions, and oh my god, it looks like it's got some speed to it. I thought it might go quite slow through some of them elements, but it certainly doesn't look like it from the clips you've seen just there. But here we go. Of course, that was the very first test of the ride. Since then, I assume it's been testing all week. We'll soon start to see the first riders go on there. I presume staff from the park, the management, and then of course an official opening. I will be going back out there at some point this year. As soon as they announce an opening date, I will be going out there. Probably not for the opening, but maybe around Halloween time. I'd like to see their festivities over there, but that's not confirmation that I will go for Halloween, but maybe around that time, a little bit later on, because I've never actually been to Sweden later in the year. The latest I've been in September, so I'd like to maybe do an October trip and of course get plenty of night rides in on Helix. There you go then, back to a park now that's very close to my heart, and of course very close to here, just a few miles up the road, and that is Alton Towers. And yes, Nemesis Sub Terra, a dark ride that opened in Forbidden Valley back in 2012 that did only last for a few seasons. It was closed, and we didn't really know much why it was closed, to be honest. They just said it was shut because of Towers Loving Care, which was the programme they started a couple of years back of refurbishing attractions. Obviously that was a newish attraction anyway. It certainly didn't need refurbishing. And from what we've seen, there's been no work take place for about 2 years now. However, what we have started to see this week is scaffolding has now gone up with some steps that started to block it in, and someone has also taken a photo of some mannequins being carried in up there as well. And yes, it looks like work is finally starting on Sub Terra, but is it going to come back as the ride? From what we can see here, and rumours of Terror of the Towers no longer being part of the Scarefest lineup, could we potentially be seeing the likes of a new scare maze being put into Nemesis Sub Terra? Now, there's so many rumours going around, but one that sounds quite feasible is the fact that the park aren't actually going to use the ride system inside there, which is 4 ABC drop towers that are all in a square opposite each other. If you never got to ride it before, you'd look at the other people, they drop, and like that sort of feel, you know, so you wouldn't really know when you were going to fall. I don't think they'll use that, but there was quite a big hole dug there as well, like the catacombs with all the Nemesis eggs with the creatures in, what they could use. There's also the fake lifts at each side, so there's quite a bit already installed, what they could easily turn into a scare attraction, which could be fantastic. Don't get me wrong, they might use the ride system, but I think that's heavily unlikely. I think that'll be blocked off. Maybe just put some boards up and send you round it, and maybe down even into like the catacombs area, or even if they don't send you down, they could put like some perspex, some glass over it, so you can like look down to the side, or maybe even walk over certain sections. I don't know, it's all speculation, but like I say, there's been rumours that Terror of the Towers has been scrapped for this year, and it's all been chucked in a skip. And I did walk past there the other day when I was in the park, and I did see some of the big crates, what we're using Terror of the Towers, in a skip. So if it's not been completely scrapped, at least some of it has been. Comment down below, I want to know your thoughts. Of course, Halloween is fast approaching, it's only a couple of months away, and of course Scream Park Worldwide will return for this year, bigger and better than ever. So many events planned this year. I didn't do anywhere near as much for Halloween last year as I wanted to, because I didn't have loads of time. But this year, plenty of time to do loads of Halloween, and I can't wait. But yes, share your comments below. Of course, there has also been a trademark deal, what has meant that the park have trademarked the Alton Towers dungeon. Now, could this be potentially for this project? Or is that going to be for something else? Me personally, it wouldn't surprise me if this is more for the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory site. That would make a perfect dungeon. And you've got to think, it's already got a big lift in there, which they used for the Great Glass Elevator. It's already got a boat ride, well, half of the boat ride, but the other bit where it brings it back round does still exist. So they could make it a full circuit if they wanted to. Or, from what I could imagine, say they did a Dungeons attraction, they could maybe send you into the lift first, so reverse Charlie basically, come out of the lift like it's took you down somewhere, and then go around the boat ride the other way. Anything is possible, and I'd like to know what you guys think. And I'm going to go up to Sub Terra over the next few days and have a look myself, and I will do a separate video on the channel before next week's episode, having a look at what's going on, a bit of a Scarefest update for you guys. So make sure you stay tuned for that one. The final bit of news that I want to talk about then this week is of course the grand opening of Port Laguna and Avalon, including their big new roller coaster, a B&M wing coaster called Phoenix. Oh my god, this area looks gorgeous. I highly recommend heading over to the official Toverland YouTube channel. They did about an hour and 15 minutes video from the opening of this, and it looked great. We had pyrotechnics, fireworks. Oh, they proper did a good show to open this area, and it looks stunning as well. First reviews from the entrance area are that it's beautiful, it's nice to sit down there. You got all the interactive things with these wands as well. I like how they did the whole barmy salami thing when it opened. Basically, there's like a walk-through attraction where you use the wands inside one of the big buildings at Toverland with barmy salami, and you shout it, and it was all very magical. And they actually incorporated this into the opening of these two new areas. I loved the idea of that. I would have liked to have been there. If I could have been there time-wise, I definitely would have gone to see it. But yes, with this area, it looks stunning. And then, of course, you've got Avalon, which has got the two rides. We can't forget Merlin's Quest, the boat ride, with a beautiful dark ride section. I'm not going to show you any footage of that because I don't want to spoil it. But on your screens, you can see footage of Phoenix, some on-ride footage there, a POV provided to us again from the park. So thanks for that one. But yes, the boat ride looks stunning. It's only a small dark ride section, but oh boy, they've done a good job. Bear in mind, Toverland have not really done anything along dark ride lines before. I'd like to see a big dark ride in the park actually at some point. But yes, it certainly looks fantastic. And I'll be experiencing this for the first time with Charlotte, Martin and Leah when we go out there on this year's Europe mega trip for 3 years running now. I can't wait in September, the first couple of weeks of September for that one. So stay tuned here on the channel. There we go then, that is all for the news this week. I want to see your comments down below. What do you think to all of the news this week? And yes, what are your thoughts on Scarefest 2018 at Alton Towers? It's now time for Guess the Ride. Here we go then, welcome to Guess the Ride. Now, we launched this section last week, and it's pretty simple as to what you do in this section. You guys out there have to guess what the ride is. Some weeks I'll be sharing with you a sound clip from a different attraction. Other weeks I'll be sharing with you a different photo, a zoomed in, cropped image of a different ride out there somewhere in the world. I will give a few little hints as to where it is, because obviously there's a lot of rides out there in the world, and yeah, it could make it quite difficult. But I did do quite an easy one to start us off last week, and I think a lot of people got this one right. It was, of course, Symbolica, one of the best dark rides out there in the world, my personal favourite. And yeah, it's a gorgeous trackless dark ride located at the park at Efteling in the Netherlands. And if you want to see that in action, check out our videos on the channel. We've got POVs from all the 3 different ride experiences, the pre-show, and a little bit of a review as well in our various different vlogs from Efteling, so check that out. Anyway, it's another sound clip this week, but this is from an American ride. I'm not saying what type of ride. It could be a coaster, a flat ride, dark ride, or even a water ride, but it's somewhere in America. It's a little bit more difficult than last week, but I think there's still a lot of people out there that will be able to get this one right. Remember, it's just for fun. I want to see your comments down below here on the show. And yes, here it is. It's time for the sound clip for this week's Guess the Ride. Stop the sound clip, and there you go. Comment down below, and in next week's episode, of course in the second section, I'll reveal just what it was. And for next week, I think we'll do a zoomed in picture for the third one here on the series. But yes, keep commenting down below. I love seeing what you guys put on these. It's all good fun. I like seeing what you guys are saying to each other with this one. And also, if you are struggling, keep an eye out because I might drop a few different clues down there as well. It's now time for Merch Paradise. So here we go then, welcome to Merch Paradise, here from the world of theme parks. As you can see just behind me there as well, I've got my genuine London Dungeon stocks. Quite a few people think that these are actually replicas. They're not. They are actually from the Tooley Street London Dungeon before it moved round to its new location on South Bank. So yeah, it's right next to London Bridge Station it was. And yeah, check out a bit of history on it here on the channel. There is some videos. But yes, anyway, I'm getting distracted with those. This is what I'm sharing with you. These are from Alton Towers, but from a long time ago. And look at these, 2 different ride patches. I'll show you these quite close up. As you can probably tell, I'm on my brand new camera. So there you go, it should autofocus nicely on there for you. Look at that, the ride patches. So with these, you can actually sort of sew them onto your clothes. I've got a few of these, really old, and my family actually bought these. Obviously, I wasn't alive at the time of these coming out, because look at that. You know, you've even got a mammoth on the front. I believe that was around the log flume of some of the scenery. And yeah, how awesome is that? Oh, there you go, and it just zooms magically. Yeah, I've had a new camera. I hope you like it, by the way. We've had a few vlogs filmed on the GoPro, but yeah, this is my new camera that I'm using. It's a Canon camera, and I will do a video all about my different camera equipment, because quite a few people do comment about that. So I'll be sure to do that soon now. I've got some new equipment, and there you go, we've got this one as well. There you go. So you can see that one there, Alton Towers official, another patch. These are material, which means they're really good quality, and obviously with these, you can sew them onto a jacket. You don't even have to do that. You can just put them onto your trousers if you really wanted to. But yeah, I really like those 2 ride patches that are in my collection here at the World of Theme Parks. I am filming some new merchandise videos at the moment on this brand new Canon camera, so stay tuned for those in the next few weeks here on the channel. So we have reached the final segment of this week's episode. As always, it's Interact with me, the part of the show that you guys get to send in all your different photos, whether you've got a photo on a ride, posing out the front of it, maybe it's your friend's birthday or your birthday, another special occasion and you want to shout out. Send it in to us and we'll put it in each week's episode. So yes, if you want something to appear next week, all you need to do is send it in to us via Instagram as a private message and also on our official Facebook page as well. Links to both of those are down below in the description. So yes, here we go then. Let's start off by looking at the photos we've got. And firstly, we've got Ryan with the Congo River Rapids on-ride photo. Thanks for sharing that one. We then got Mark and Jack just here on Icon at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Good to see you going there to ride the new attraction. It certainly is fantastic. My favourite in the UK, and I'm glad you've got to experience it. Next up, we've got Jenny with a vampire on-ride photo there. So thank you very much for sending that one in. Next up, we've got Michael with an Icon on-ride photo. Good to see Icon nice and popular this week, and that people are going up there to experience the UK's first double launch roller coaster. Thanks for sending that one in, Michael. And then got Luke, Charlotte, Lily and Freddie here at Alton Towers, so thanks for sharing that one with me. And next up we've got Glenn, who's had a photo here at Alton Towers as well. Thanks for sending it in, Glenn. Next up we've got Alice with a Buzz Lightyear laser blast on-ride photo, so thanks for sending that one in. And next up, Freddie, who had a photo there with me. It was great to meet you. Next up, we've got Aaron and friends with me and Charlotte's brick, which is engraved into the footpath at Alton Towers on the plaza. They announced this earlier this year. You could pay to have a brick engraved. With me and Charlotte being together 5 years this year, I thought we'd have a brick on there. And if you do see it, have a photo, send it in for us here on the channel. So there you go. Next up, we've got Tina and Dave, who met me at Barbican Model Village. These two were lovely. Big hi out there to you guys. I was chatting to them for a couple of hours actually and went round the Model Village with them. They were great, and yeah, really enjoyed meeting you guys, so thanks for sending that one in, and I'm sure I'll see you at some point in the future. You know what I'm talking about. And then we've got Matthew up next with a Red Force on-ride photo, so thanks for sending in that one. An awesome launch coaster, one of my favourites out there. Next up we've got Ruby and Riley here at Paulton's Park. Hope you had a fantastic time. And second to last just here we've got Meg, who sent in a photo from X-Flight at Six Flags. So thank you very much for sending that one in. And last but not least we've got Luke with an El Toro on-ride photo there, also from Six Flags. And thank you very much for sending it in. Like I say, if you're sitting there watching this thinking, I want my photo in next week's episode, then get them sent in via Instagram and Facebook, and we'll feature your photo next week here on the channel. There we go then, that's come to the end of this week's episode and the first episode done on my new camera. Hope you've enjoyed it. I'd like to know your feedback, and hopefully that audio quality's improved a little bit. I'm still using the microphone on this new camera at the moment, but I'm looking at either a lapel mic to clip on here or maybe another external mic to go onto the top. So don't worry, I'm always making improvements and listening to your feedback here on the channel, and I do very much appreciate it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back next Wednesday for all the latest theme park news and our weekly segments. That means it's time to cue those credits. See you next week.